Hi there. I'm going to be showing you how to host your own online game, whether it be D&D or some other style. I play D&D, so this example will primarily be D&D based, but you can use a lot of these examples to host whatever game you desire. Stay tuned. Here we go. I guess the first off thing is you need to have some players that are willing to play online with you. And for some people it's, okay, well, I don't, so how do I find them, or how do I find games? Well, there's actually a lot of different places. One thing you could do is go to the Dungeons & Dragons website. I'm using Dungeons & Dragons as an example. If you play, let's say, Warhammer Fantasy, go to their website, into their forums. Okay, so, we'll go with Dungeons & Dragons since it's a little more popular. You can go into their forums here. I'll just walk along with you guys to show you. Okay, and then down below here, there is a D&D gamer classifieds. You put online games right here. That'll pull us in. And then some people use Skype, Ventrilo, Map Tools, and it'll tell you in here what type of tools and whatnot they're looking for, and the times and dates. If you're looking for players, make sure you put days of the week that you're looking at running, some time frames. Makes it a little easier to get some hits if you're a little more specific, instead of just saying, I'm looking at, finding some players, what's good for you. I found that if you put out a day and a time, you're most likely to get hits than if you just say, looking for players, what works good for you guys. See, what else can you do? There's also some D&D groups here you can go into. So we'll move over to the groups here, and they have like an online area that you can go to, like online role-playing game group. As you can see, there's almost 50,000 members there. So you can go in there, you can post something in there. YouTube Brigade, just make a video and put it out there. Also, YouTube Brigade has their own Facebook page. You can join that group and post in there. If you have a local gaming store that, perhaps it's quite a bit of a drive for you. Maybe it's like, 45 minutes, an hour or longer. Next time you're in town, put up a little flyer saying you're looking for players, and you're going to do an online version of it. That works. You can hit up your real life friends. Nothing says, if you're playing an online game, every single person that's playing has to be online. You can have, I can invite a few players over here, and we can play, a few players here, along with people, California, England, Philippines, whatnot. Just got to be a little flexible on that. Also, you can go to the different Facebook groups. We'll go to Facebook here. Like I have, like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There's a bunch of different groups you can find here. If you're looking for a group, let's say you're looking for someone that, let's say Pathfinder, okay? That's a good instance. I have them. Pathfinder Society. It's a really big group here. Just become a member and just post in here that you're looking for a group. You'll probably get some hits. If your first time, you might want to really spread yourself around and hit as many areas as you can. And you're not going to get hits overnight. It's going to be a process. After a couple weeks, you'll start getting a lot of people hitting you up, especially if you're going to be DMing. You'll find there's an extreme shortage of DMs out there. Also, you can go to Google with the new community page. They've got all kinds of communities here. So we'll go into the communities here. like Google G Plus tabletop role playing. You know, they got 3,000 members. RPG Hangouts. These guys basically they specialize. Those are players that use Google Plus Hangout to host games. So there's 1,200 members right there. You know, and you can just go through the list. There's all kinds of different ones. There's specific ones for AD&D, OSR, horror, dark fantasy, and then there's some outside of the D&D realm. You know, Call of Cthulhu and a bunch of different communities out there. Just search through them. You'll find a whole bunch. Another place I've used in the past is inworld.org. He recently had his website hacked, so he's rebuilding it. But I believe the forums are completely intact. He did have one of the biggest databases for finding players, and he's trying to get that rebuilt, but that's currently down. But you know, you can go through to their forums, gamers seeking gamers here, and put in there that you're looking for someone, or you know, look and find one that suits your interest. You know, that's just a small little sample of where you can find players. There's many other places out there, but this should give you a good idea of the places you can look to find players. Okay, so we're going to now assume we have our players. So the next thing we're going to go over is the equipment, all the little tools and gadgets you can use to play it online. Okay, and now that we have our players and friends lined up for a game, now we need to look at the equipment we're going to need. Obviously you're going to need a computer or a laptop. I'm just fortunate enough I have both. You're going to need a headset or a microphone, and most importantly you're going to need a webcam. I have a USB one here with an extension, and I have it all the way over here to where I have it up on a TV, and that in turn looks down over my table. I have a really long extension on my USB cable, so that way I can move the camera to get different angles on the table at all times. You're also going to need a program. I use Google Plus. There are also many players that use Skype. These are free programs you can use, and it doesn't hog up all your bandwidth. You're uploading your data to the server, but you're not hosting the server as well, like some other programs. Okay, so now we need to look at what else we're going to need. We're going to need some dice, which I have dice kind of scattered all around. I have some over here at my keyboard. I move around quite a bit when I'm DMing. So I got some there. I have my big bag of dice here. Sometimes I'll have some here or on the table. I do know I have some around on this side of the table, so when I'm in the middle of things I can fold it out. I have some there. I got a whole set ready to go. That way no matter where I'm at on the table I can keep things going without having to move constantly. And then you could use a chess-6 square grid with some dry erase markers like I do, or you can use 3D terrain, which I use that as well. Here's some more. I have some more bits and pieces that I've made using my Hirsch Arts molds. And then I have a collection of my minis, and then down below here I'm already getting ready. I got more terrain in some boxes, some Dwarven Forge. And then I got my boxes of my minis nearby here. I already have some out, so when we're playing I don't have to stop and hunt through my toolboxes and my gaming bag and my chess-6 boxes for them. So I go ahead, I kind of have an idea of the types of monsters I'm going to run with, and I pulled those out so they're readily available. And sometimes I don't even have the dungeons exactly mapped out. Sometimes I just throw them together. And I have a couple different charts where I can create traps and dungeon dressings on the side. Some PDFs I use, I've bought some from Black Swan Press. It's called Dungeon Dressings. Some pretty cool stuff on different fountains, altars, stairs, secret doors. They got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, recommend checking them out at rpgdrivethrough.com. For traps, Dungeon Master Johnny on YouTube here. I give him a plug. He also has an ebook, Endless Puzzles. It's a really good book. It's got, like he says, endless amount of possibilities. It's only $6. It is well worth the money. I highly recommend you guys hook him, ask him about it. He takes payments through PayPal. Alright, so next, what else are we going to need? I do have a printer nearby. Sometimes I scourge some paper from there. And you can see here at my computer desk, I always have a couple pencils handy. I make some notes. Here's my outline, what I'm doing right now. But I'll constantly make notes here. I'll put like AC and some hit points, making my scratches the old DM style. I'll write down names. Later on, after an adventure, if I create DMs on the fly, or not DMs, but NPCs on the fly, I will put them in my box of NPC info, where I have some information that I'll jot down on certain characters. Let me pull one out where I've got someone. It's a dungeon that I got. I'm gonna put some tabs in here later. But basically I got different NPCs. Like here's Galaxus, which was a young white dragon. I got some names written down of the PCs. He actually escaped in one of the adventures. So he's there in case I want to bring him back. You know, I put some notes on there. Prancing Fish Tavern, that came up once. Captain Louvain, he is owner of a long ship. See, there's a halfling beggar who's missing his left hand. He's found around the docks at times. Or Lander from Lander's shop in one of the towns. I just, you know, I make notes, throw it in there, and then if I want to create an adventure on the fly, and I'm like, let me see, and I'll just randomly pull out one of these and go, okay, oh, Mr. Captain Louvain of the Longship. Okay, let's put something together with him again. And if there's more notes, I'll add on to there. See what else I use every once in a while. I also have this deck of cards here that I won off of a challenge from D&D Puzzle of the Week's channel, where he created, here's some blanks on the side here. I'll move over, kind of like fortune cards, which I've used in the past, or deck of many things. Kind of up to you how you want to use them. So there's a whole bunch of different ones, some really cool stuff on there. So there's that. I also have my handy dandy graph paper next to me right here. You'll probably notice I have pens and pencils everywhere, so I can make notes everywhere I go. Here's my dry erase markers. You can tell I also have some modules out and about. I also have a big stack over here that I'm currently going through. Yeah, lighting's pretty dark over there in that corner. I have a huge stack, and I have a big box under there. I also have quite a bit of stuff in my cabinet underneath there that'll pull out. And then I have some books nearby. Let me pull off my laptop so you can see. Arch Magic, my monster manuals, some of my old basic D&D books. Some of these I put some covers on. Here's my monster manual to Fiendophilia. Yeah. Put a cover on there. I like to try and protect my books as much as possible. And I have multiple copies of some of these books. Like I got a couple Monster Manual 2s. I got a Monster Manual 1, although this one is in pretty bad shape. I'm always finding notes and stuff from previous adventures that I'll have in here. Yeah, I got some little compendiums. It looks like I lost my old 3-ring Monsters compendium, which I'll have to replace one of these days. Here's another neat little book, Book of All Spells. I got a bunch of stuff on PDF as well. And then of course I have a whole folder. I made a whole bunch of character sheets and stuff over there. Anyhow, I'm pretty much rambling now. If there's some areas you don't want people to see on the dungeon, you could put like a tablecloth or a sheet, or like right there I got that crafty felt to throw up over the top. You could put up Dungeon Master screens. I have a whole stack of them here. Got my 4E, some of my old 1Es, Planescape, Pathfinder. Anyhow, just when you're setting up the webcam, you can just put these up, block the view so you can't see behind where you're currently building. Alright, so that pretty much covers that. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, you can also use dungeon tiles instead of the mat or 3D. Just put those out, just like you're playing in person. And then of course, we can't forget, you can always use Theater of the Mind or a hybrid of it. So you don't have to have all this fancy terrain and miniatures and stuff. You can use your imagination and just have the players put their webcam where you can see their facial reactions to what you're talking about and whatnot. Another thing I recommend is, and that's going to depend on your group. You may have some people that you trust on die rolls and whatnot. If you don't, have them point their webcam in an area or in a box where you can see when they roll their dice. So, for instance, we'll say that we're going to point it at this felt. So when they roll to hit, and have them put it to where they can see what the dice is, and that's kind of a bad dice to roll on there. The contrast is horrible. Let's see here. Yeah. There we go. Got a 4. Definitely gonna miss with that. Alright. I'm also now going to go over VTTs, which is a little acronym for Virtual Tabletops. Along with using Google+, you don't have to use any other fancy tools than just Google+. I'm just showing you some other features if you don't want to. You can use programs such as Fantasy Grounds, which I have a bunch of tutorials up. And just to kind of give you an idea, I'm going to community here. They have a 4th edition They have a little bit for people that are trying to use it for 5th edition. Um, 3.5, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, Arcana, Burp, Castles and Crusades, GURPS, Iron Heroes, Mutants, Masterminds. They have a whole bunch of other systems. Just about any game system you have out there, you can use Fantasy Grounds to host the game. What does Fantasy Grounds look like in a game session? I have many sessions actually where I use Fantasy Grounds. Feel free to take a look at those to see how they work and what they look like. Anyhow, we're going to move on to some other ones real quick. This one, like I said, I use this one quite a bit. There's also another one called D20 Pro. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. And these guys, they have a license through Paizo for Pathfinder, so a lot of the rule sets will match up. But it's another virtual tabletop you can check out. Another one that's really popular, and the reason it's popular is because it's free. It's user developed. It also goes by the name of RP Tools. So we'll open that up. So you can customize that and use that to host your games as well. I've heard of a bunch of other ones coming up. There's like Roll D20, Game Tabletop, there's iTabletop. At this point, I think I've seen close to about 30 of them in different stages. Some are just starting off, some have been around for a while. So you can just check it around. Just type in virtual tabletop and you'll get a whole bunch of different choices that'll come at you. But once again, if you're playing online, you don't have to use a virtual tabletop. You can just play with just a webcam. And a lot of these other programs will cost you in some respect. Map Tools, I can say, is completely free though. They have dice emulators on a bunch of them and whatnot. So anyhow, we'll see you around. And with that, you should now have the tools and the knowledge to host your own online game. Now get out there and host some games.